it's a real pleasure for me as a longtime fan to be sitting here with Aaron Gray.
Here with Larry Hama.
We're talking with Kevin J. Anderson, best-selling author.
Mr. Neil Adams.
I am here with David Prince.
Axel Alonso, editor.
Shadow Stevens. And Devil's Comic-Con with John Delancey.
With Tom King.
Kevin Conroy.
Free comic book day.
Denise Crosby.
PopCon Pop Expo.
Here on location at Star Wars
We're
Celebration.
Sci-Fi Expo talking for our second time with Gil Gerard.
Wichita, Kansas at Time Eddie.
Producer David Gerald.
I've got Eric Flint.
Are here at Smallville Comic Con.
Wizard World St. Louis.
VillageCon in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Michael Lombardi.
We were talking with Alan Dean.
Quincy Allen.
Suzanne Lambden.
Founder of Starlog Magazine, Mr. Kerry Oakwood.
Chris Sami.
Len Weed. Dave Schwartz. Mano Intirami. John Aaron.
This is Sci-Fi for Me, your portal to the science fiction multiverse.
The Immortal Mask, a 1970 superhero crime noir adventure that follows a retired soldier who is given a Covenant interview with a death row inmate. What he learns from the interview thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to utilize his military training to survive from being hunted for the information that could topple the most powerful ruling class in the city. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at denali's.com.
Come get some.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mike Jimmy in the house.
Hey. Good to be back.
Always glad to have you on, man. Good. Okay. Everybody who says, hey, these crowdfunding people, they put out a book every 2 years and then you never hear from them and then they're late. They don't know Mike Jimmy.
No, we got the proof.
You're cranking out issue after issue. You're getting funded. And I know who you are. I hear about you all the time because I travel in the right circles. But we've got to get more and more people to know about your science fiction, interplanetary, anthropomorphic, but not furry in a furry's way. It's just they're creatures and they have adventures, and
Exactly.
it's a fun, heartwarming, uplifting, and informative, brain feeding. It's all good, man. It's so I'm gonna go back to basics on a lot of this stuff. So you're gonna think, RJ, do you not remember talking to me like a year ago?
No. I figured, we got to refresh people's mind.
We do.
How about I just go over the synopsis for Love and Korra and explain the world, because it's a lot. So
I always need somebody to explain the world to me, because it keeps getting crazier.
Life on Korra is a science fiction megastructure, and that sounds very imposing. It really isn't. Some creatures built the world way back when. Something happened. The creatures that made it are gone, but evolution still happened, and we're looking at millions of years in the future. That being said, in every story that we create for Life on Korra, we follow a new kind of creature, building the fauna and flora of the world. And yeah, it's a world building series. So every issue has its own story, its own setting, and we're just exploring the world one story at a time. And that's the best way to say it. Like, we're explorers, and we have a couple of basic rules that we keep to. And other than that, we just let evolution happen and figure out how life works on Korra.
Now, the thing about Life on Korra, and you've got 5 volumes out so far, unless I've miscounted, is that you can pick up any one of those 5, and you don't have to know anything about the others. They're disconnected from each other, but connected only by the fact that they happen in the same place.
Yes.
Have you thrown any Easter eggs in there where somebody's like, if they're reading issue 3 and they say, oh, look, there's a little guy in the background from issue 1.
Yeah, no. There is. There's tons of little Easter eggs, honestly. In issue 6, actually, coming up, I'm working on the last couple of pages. Where is it? Right here. Or not? Where is it? Did the cat run away with it again? I think the cat ran away with it. I actually drew Oksana Toivan. So we're working on the last couple of pages, and that's just slated for June.
Do you have any plans for characters to return, and maybe not the same character, but the same creature type, same species?
Oh yeah, definitely. But the thing is, like, because I don't make the stories, I don't think of the characters, I don't worry about those things. I worry about, like, I do 2 things mainly. I draw pretty pictures, and I make sure things work on Korra.
Editorial control.
Yeah, I have editorial control, but for the most part, my writers think about everything when it comes to the story. And yes, the cat ate the homework again.
It could have, it could have been flown off.
Probably.
Actually,
no,
this is one of the creatures from Korra.
Here we go. Here's a little preview of Love and Korra 6.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
So I'm working at twice the size that I used to. Now, rather than A3, it's A2.
That's always, I have to think about that because this is a European measurement.
17 by 24.
Yeah. The smaller the numbers get, the bigger the paper gets.
Yes.
Which, I don't know, is there an A0?
Yes, actually, there is an A0. And the way you calculate it is, you have your piece of paper. You always fold over the long side. So if I fold it like this is A4. If I fold it, it's A5, and it's the other way around too. And it stops at A0.
So, you have limitations here, because like if you try to get an A100, you can't fold it that many times.
No.
It would disappear. You can't have an A -50 because it would cover the moon.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, that's the way binary. I'm geeking out again on. I used to watch this show called Numbers, and it was, we love our police procedurals where there's one guy who's an expert in one specific thing, and then every crime is going to fit that one specific thing. He was a mathematician, and he was he'd always solve problems with math.
Mhm.
And he asked his brother was the police captain, investigator, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, if you took a piece of paper and you folded it 30 times, how thick would it be? And the girl, he was like, that'd be like I guess a couple of feet. He's like, no, I know my brother. He these trick questions. It would be as big as a skyscraper. It would reach the moon, you morons. So yeah, you can only fold it so many times.
You can actually only fold it 8 times, but that's a whole different story, and that's on Mythbusters. What up, Will? Good to see you, man.
So that's our foray into the world of publishing and paper and the sizes. I still haven't figured out why a paper is 100 pounds or 700 pounds or 70 pounds. I'm like, no, it's like 2 ounces. It's real light. It's
Oh, that's very easy. A square yard or square meter is that amount of weight.
Oh, okay. So when it says 70-pound paper, they're saying if it was a meter by a meter, that whole sheet would weigh 70 pounds. No, that couldn't be right.
There is, like, I know for a fact that in grams, so grams per square meter, that like a 100 gram per square meter sheet, is a square meter is 100 grams. How it works in pounds, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, because we got that 70-pound paper, and it's like, I just know it's thick. I got into this when I tried to give people estimates in advance. They're like, hey, can you tell me how much a 24-page book is going to cost to ship? I'm like, okay, how much is a piece of paper weigh that's this much? And the internet keeps giving me this paperweight. I'm like, no, there's no way this book weighs this much.
No. It's awful. It works in GSM because it's, how big a sheet of paper is in centimeters. You know how much your paper weighs per square meter. You divide it. You take the amount of pages. You take your cover weight, and you should have a pretty close number.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have a couple extra because of the glue, but, it's pretty close. It doesn't work in Imperial because Imperial doesn't work.
I figured it was like maybe a strength test. Like, if you hold this paper out, it'll support 70 pounds.
Oh, that is entirely possible. That could be. Honestly, you know what?
Like
That's
line.
Possible. Like, yeah, if you hang that piece of paper and you hang, a weight under it, when does it rip? I don't know.
Nothing at all to do with your book, except that you have to pick out the paper.
We're nerds. We're publication nerds.
Yeah. Okay,
we
so
actually have to care about these things.
The creatures in Korra. One thing I've noticed is there's some of them look similar.
Yes.
And they're different species, but they have this, they get this proboscis look to them, and they'll have these. So I'm wondering, do you have look at these guys? Look, your cousin's online.
I love them. I love Etsy.
Do they have, or do you have an idea of what's the word I'm looking for? The species, the prime animal that everything kind of diverged from.
No. And
was
we do
just
that
coincidence.
No. It's really not. Especially the Tusker and Model. So Etsy and Grund, the main character from Avatar 2, like those are actually distant cousins. The same way that we are distant cousins from Neanderthals.
Okay.
Common ancestors somewhere down the line. It actually gets explained in Lovecraft 1. But for the most part, you only have so far back where it matters for the story. And everything when it comes to the history of Korra is dependent on the story itself. if it doesn't matter for the story, it doesn't have to be in there.
Yeah.
So
everything is story driven.
Everything is story driven, and it's about legends. It's about the adventures, a day in the life of, and whether that is a gigantic adventure by tiny creatures or Atsi getting attacked and falling down to the ground where she meets her distant cousins, which turns into Grund being so inspired by a flying creature that he wants to learn how to fly himself. It's all story driven. And especially in Lava Core 1, you see a little bit of world building, you see a bit of background, and how evolution happened between those two. But for the most part, if it doesn't mean anything, there's no need to put it in. We're not going to info dump you because there's absolutely no reason.
Oh, I hate info dumps. To understand what's happening on this world, you must understand the world.
No,
no. That'd be like, going into like a Stephen King novel and having like 20 pages up front says, these are what cars are, and this is how they work, and this is how we build towns. I was like, no, we don't need that.
A little thing on hobbits.
Yes.
200 pages of this is how hobbits work. It's interesting. It's fun. We get it, Tolkien. But
I enjoyed the story without knowing all of that and figuring it out.
I could have gone into the story without knowing it. I understand that it matters now. It matters to you. And actually, it's a pretty interesting read. But do we need it for the story?
No. It was not needed for the story.
And if you can scrap it, nothing is sacred.
That which doesn't contribute or isn't noticed by its absence can
exactly.
There's a actual expression that I've completely forgotten the quote on that. That which neither adds nor detracts by its presence. Something. Go Google it, guys. It's out there. Now, one of the things I really enjoy about Korra is that I know it's a science fiction story. I know there's technology at work here. The reader knows there's technology at work here. The people living there have no idea there's technology at work. Now, I just call them people. That's how anthropomorphically attuned I am to your species here.
They know there's technology. They know there's technology. Like it's everywhere, literally. Like it's, old satellites that are just broken down and orbiting around, the continents and the core. There's all kinds of technology and ruins. There's hieroglyphs all over the place from the ancients, that describe all kinds of things. But except for the Tusker, the main characters of Lava Core 1 and 2, nobody bothers. Like, they're animals. They're just living their life. They're surviving. And they're slowly just starting to fill in this sentient niche. There's a lot of sapiens. So there's, the creatures that are starting to have an understanding of self. But sentience is something that is a niche that has not been filled. It's been lost to time. So
there was one book, and I get the numbers all mixed up because it's not sequential. It's you pick up story and go. Where you could tell it was technology, but they were treating it like religion.
That's issue 1 actually. Let me grab it for you.
Is that's the one where your fate is decided by the sorting hat, pretty much.
That is issue. Oh no, that's actually issue 4 you're talking about. That is Inner Talents.
Yes. Yes, I recognize the title now. Where your life would be assigned to you, and it's like it's a sorting hat kind of thing.
Every Mischius knows the Inner Talents ritual determines everything about you. And the issue 4, Inner Talents, is actually about Calais disagreeing because he doesn't want to be a trader and a stone collector. So these are pieces that matter to creatures because they have a legendary feeling to them. Like that, if you were to give someone a cell phone 700 years ago and tell them everything about the world you can find on this thing, if it had it linked to the modern day, everything about the world you can find by typing in whatever you want on this device.
Or just asking it verbally now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would either be killed for witchery or you would be a king.
Yes.
Like it would be magic. And that's what this technology is to these creatures. It's magic. It's bigger than life.
It's just, it makes for fascinating storytelling. Now, for people who have not been getting this because they're big comics, they're tall, they're wide, they don't fit in your long box easily. This is the campaign now that you're running that they need to get in on, because you don't have to worry about it. It's going to fit on your bookshelf, people. This campaign is for the collected 1 through 5?
1 through 5 plus actual world building material in the back. And it's actually going to be 1 through 5.5.
So there's going to be some extra material.
There's going to be a completely new story.
I love hearing that. So, okay, never mind. I'm sitting here thinking, this is nice, but I've got these books. Now I've got to save it because you got more story in it. Damn you. Plus, this is where world building stuff belongs. When you have a collection, you're like, hey, here's fun, and I can't help but thinking, pages for RPG roleplay.
Actually, it wasn't on my schedule, but somebody else told me it should be on my schedule. So Nicholas Anthony Tuckert, who is the voice for Benville in the animated pilot, as well as doing the Nevermind the Furthermore every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Always promote your friends. Has very subtly hinted that he would like to work on an RPG with me for Korra.
He would be the guy I would suggest you go to.
He comes to me in this case. But so that is a thing. But for this volume, I went through all my piles of paper that I accumulated over the years, and pulled out every last bit of paper and notebook scrap about Korra that I could find. And if we hit our stretch goals, we are looking at a ton of world building. Now I can actually show you guys because it's already partially in here.
Let me get my mouse back over to the right monitor and I will give you the big screen.
All right. So everything.
Look at that beautiful book. That's thick.
Yes.
TICC.
This is going to be twice as big if we hit our stretch goals. Just saying.
Throw money, folks. Throw money.
So, by the way, this hardcover is not actually cardboard. It's linen.
Oh, nice.
So this is fabric glued on. But in the back here, we have things like the alphabet being used by the Tusker and the Nettle.
Oh, we can go back and decode things.
That's right. You're going to be able to find all the little Easter eggs that I put in there. Then you got the original sketch of Atzi and Groot flying for the first time. So that's the first depiction of the flying machine you see in Live According to. But also, quick sketches of me brainstorming it. All kinds of little things.
Going behind the scenes.
All kinds of storyboards. And this is far from everything. Like, this was just the yeah, like the very first notes about the story.
So let's talk about that for a second here, because at some point in that was not what I meant to do, but we'll live with it. I just took the share down, but we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back. At some point, Mike Jimmy's walking along, finished moving furniture, getting some lunch, drinking a Coke, sitting down, lighting a cigarette, and this little lightning bolt goes off in a synapse of your brain that says, Cora.
Not really. So how it came to be was me talking to the original writer. Like, we were looking for something that we could publish quick, limit ourselves, because the only thing that I was working on at the time was Sage of Sunset, which was a very long graphic novel, epic fantasy. And I discontinued that because Cora took off really well. It'll come back eventually, but priorities.
Yes.
But I was talking to her and I was like, I would like a true fantasy. I want a fantasy world where there's no humanoids. If there's magic, it's going to be lowball. And that very quickly turned into ancient technology. With the first issue being fleshed out. And we were pretty much hands-on. I started drawing and making concepts, and we had like 3 brainstorm sessions, and then we were essentially already ready to go. We had a 22-page comic that we could just go and print.
So it almost sounds like it wanted to be born, and
yeah,
it came out through you guys.
I literally just started sketching the world.
Now this is interesting because your world is the opposite of a heliocentric. Well, it's absolutely a heliocentric kind of thing, because the sun, quote unquote, the core is right there in the middle.
Yeah.
The only thing that keeps this from being a solar system is the fact that your planets are all part of the same organic structure that went.
Yes.
So they're orbiting continents.
They're orbiting continents because this is a science fiction megastructure. A whole bunch of people made this. Some creature way back in the day, called the Ancients now, made this sci-fi megastructure, and it had a goal in mind, but the goal has been lost to time, and evolution happened. And so, life happened, and life went on, and they didn't give up. And suddenly you get all kinds of sketches of Cora, with me just figuring out what would the world look like. And you get the first sketches of the Nuttall, of me going, what kind of creature would live high in the trees? Would they have bigger eyes? Because, they would have to be able to manipulate. What kind of build would they have? And you get the Tusker. Let me flip that around for you guys. Much bulkier because they're lower to the ground. They have a higher gravity that they have to keep in mind because it's centrifugal gravity as well. And you just get into so many small things. And these are pretty much the first sketches of the entire thing. And then you got Hudson.
You mentioned their eyes and the development of their evolution. I'd be interested in knowing how any of your creatures would react if they were somewhere and suddenly there was white light. Because and you know where I'm going with this, because we just talked about it before. Everything, your entire color palette, the colors have to work with a limited palette because it's a blue light source, heat source for everything. So there are wavelengths that don't get seen under that.
They would see blue. Because the thing is, their eyes are set to see green up to ultraviolet. That's where the purple comes from. The light is a spectrum. It keeps on waving and waving, and it goes further and further. There are creatures that can see infrared. so they would see warmth. For example, the Eleni, so the tiny creatures in Lava Core 5, their second pair of eyes, they see infrared. So they have that light spectrum. You wouldn't see it as infrared as we know it, because our cameras actually see the infrared, register how hot it actually is, and make a graph that we can see. Infrared on its own is a very interesting concept. It's a color that doesn't exist for us.
Right.
It's
outside of the scope. And that's why I just kind of wonder, if suddenly there was a full spectrum of light rather than the limited spectrum they're getting shining anywhere, would anything on the planet show up as red or yellow or orange? And if it did, would they see it, or would it be like this blind spot of there's like white nothing there?
No,
because the brains don't know how to see it.
It would be gray. It would be gray and black.
Gray and black. That makes sense.
Like the same way that most people don't actually see magenta. Magenta is the color that our eyes actually cannot see. It's what they fill in.
Oh, I just saw it as kind of a purple.
No, it's if you're seeing purple, that is the color that your eyes are filling in. Magenta is a color that our eye receptors, like light receptors, cannot see. So to a lot of people, it's actually pure gray, which is, it is a kind of color blindness.
Okay. This gets into conversations I've had with people in college with substances where we're like, what if the color I see as red isn't the same color you see as red, but we both called it red, so we both agreed that that's red.
That's essentially how the worst part is that is how language works.
I know.
That's not even how colors work. That's how languages work.
We've just agreed upon something that might be interpreted entirely different in our brains, but it's in the same place.
No,
so given the language.
It's the same way. Like behind me, for some reason, like I was lazy and I put up a blanket of flamingos upside down. They are blue and red. Because of my camera, they're actually a little less red than they are in real life, because it adds a bit of extra light. But if you don't have any green light receptors in your eyes, Cora is going to be very, 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 very gray for you.
I bet it would be, actually.
Like you would not be able to see most of the colors. You might see purple as red, but for the most part, it's going to be a very gray comic.
So if you don't like black and white comics and you're colorblind, this is.
I mean, it's not even really a choice. If you're colorblind, I'm sorry, but you can't. It's a birth defect.
So this is the cover that's going to go on the hardcover volume here.
That's right.
This is such a gorgeous collection of everybody. Everybody's here. Even Octaz is there in the background.
That's right.
Who's still one of my favorite characters.
I love Octaz. He's so much fun. But the hardcover.
And that's not even Octaz, by the way. That's the armor. the
that's
rock.
the armor of Octaz. That's right. Like that's his exoskeleton. It's really overkill. But this is by Jaden Lanning. So Nita Lanning, who is the creator of the Indie Comics Network, CEO, her eldest daughter. So this is by a 17-year-old girl.
Oh man,
she is going places. Yeah. This is. Has she been published before? Yeah. She's actually an Eagle Raven by Daphne Leitch.
Okay.
So she does variant covers for Daphne, and I was like, "Hey, you want to try your hand at creatures?" And she nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. It's like jumping into My Little Cora.
Words right out of my mouth. I'm like, this.
Yeah,
is like
I agree. Absolutely loving it. But this cover is going to be limited to 50 copies. That means that there's only going to be 50 of these made, and they will be signed, they will be numbered, and on the inside, I will add an original sketch.
Oh.
So there is going to be, this is very limited, and I'm probably never going to do this again. But yeah, this is the limited edition you want to get.
Now, is this going to be any same dimensions as the comics, or are you going to make it any bigger, like an artist edition?
No, this is the same size as the comics. Because it's a hardback, it's going to be a little bit bigger because of the extra edges.
Sure.
But for the most part, it's going to be A4.
Now, we've seen how big the book is, and you said it's going to be double that if the stretch goals are all met. What for those who want to work with the numbers on that, how many pages are we talking here? And I know it's on the campaign, but I can't
about 220, 230.
That's the goal one?
If we hit our stretch goal and we get the supplementary story by the 24-hour comic challenge in there, we're looking at about 220, 230 pages in total. So that book that I showed you earlier is going to be twice as big. That's going to be about 1.5 inch or like 3 centimeters.
You mentioned the 24-hour challenge.
That's right.
Go. So, what is this?
Masochism. That's what it is. No, next week. Hey, what up, Aria?
Hey, Aria.
Next week on February 4th, Kimi Comics and I are going to be drawing a brand new Life on Korra story, imagined by Luz, my girlfriend, and Gio, Kimi's husband. And we are going to make a completely new story in 24 hours.
So the story's already in our head, though, right? I mean, it's written.
No. We have thought up a concept, and that's it. So all the brainstorming, all the thumbnailing, all the actual scripting is going to happen within those 24 hours.
Oh my God! Yeah,
that's right.
That's masochism. So, what's the typical page count? 22, 24 pages.
24 pages in 24 hours. We're going to cheat a little bit, and we're going to include the cover as one of the 24 pages.
Oh, well, now it's a 23 page. That can't be done. But inked or just penciled?
Inked and flat colored.
Every artist out there that says he can do 2 pages a week is going to shoot you down. You're reminding me of I did a show with Jason Hunt at Sci-Fi for Me. We do every once in a while we do these joint efforts, Blast from the Bunker, and we had Howard Warsaw on. Howard Warsaw is a psychotherapist, and his former career was working for Atari, and he's the guy who wrote the code for E.T., the much maligned Atari cartridge.
Yeah,
and the story that he tells is that basically the Spielberg people came and said, we need somebody to write this game, and we need it in 5 weeks. Who can do it in 5 weeks? And none of them said, we can't write a game in 5 weeks. And Howard like, I'll do it. And he did it in 5 weeks, showing that you can write a game in 5 weeks. Why are you taking so long to do the other games?
Well, okay, here's the thing. Yes, you can do it in 5 weeks. Yes, you can do it in shorter. Look, we can all write a comic script in an hour. It's going to be good? No. The point is to take your time. That's why I'm not doing this alone. There's going to be, there's 4 people brainstorming together.
Yeah.
There's going to be one red line that we're going to keep to that we figured out. So we're actually going to go into a little bit of Life on Korra history. So be on the lookout on the Indie Comics Network next week. Because, we're going to stream this whole thing for 24 hours.
Yeah, because you guys produce a page an hour.
We essentially have to produce a page an hour. So what is probably going to happen? Well, what is going to happen is we're going to brainstorm. It's probably going to take 2, maybe 3 hours.
So now you have less than a page, less than an hour per page to produce.
Yes, that's fine too. Because once the thumbnails are down, I can work with very easy pencils. And so Kimi Comics is going to do the pencils. I will traditionally ink these pages.
Oh my God. Do you know what you're doing to yourself?
Oh yeah, no. I'm actually faster in traditional than I am in digital because I don't have to, I don't zoom in. I can't zoom in. I can at most take off my glasses and everything's twice as big. But other than that, it's and you have to keep with what you got. And I do everything traditional anyway. This is what I do.
Woody says I can barely read a page an hour.
I would suggest prescription glasses in that case.
Yes. Yes. I need to get some myself. These are readers.
Or audiobooks. Audiobooks are great.
Yeah, audio comics don't work for me though.
No, me
we call those cartoons.
But yeah, so 2 or 3 hours of brainstorming, thumbnailing, scripting, and Kimi Comics is going to pencil. And every page that she finishes, I'm just going to print out and get on inking. When she's done with another page, I'm just going to print it out, get on, and keep on moving. And when I scan them back in, I send them back over to her. She starts flat coloring, or Geo starts flat coloring, or Lou starts flat coloring. Who cares? And we get it done in 24 hours.
Oh, good luck. I will
fun.
Be there for this. I want to watch this. This is going to be my entertainment for the weekend. This is the other cover, by the way, by Aristine. This is the standard cover.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, Aristine has been my colorist for the past 3 years, starting with Octa's Climbs. And she has gone back and completely recolored issues 1 and 2 to be the same as the rest of the series. Okay. So her hand is finally all over the thing, and I absolutely love her work. I have loved her work since she started working with me. And she delivers. Like, she's trustworthy, she's great, and I wanted her hour to shine, and she absolutely nailed this cover. It is beautiful. I love both the hard and soft cover just as much.
That was my next question. Was I can't tell is there a hardcover by Aristine, or is hers the soft cover?
No, hers is the soft cover. The hardcover is limited to 50 copies, and that will only be Jaden's variant.
Got it.
So
and then the soft cover is both available. You got to re-letter this thing.
I got to re-letter this thing. I have to translate the whole thing. I have to do a lot.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Love of Course 6 is behind because I have been focusing on getting Aristine to recolor issues 1 and 2. They had a lettering upgrade as well. And in the meantime, I've slowly been working on Love of Course 6, but I'm working at twice the size for that as well for inking. So it's going to be twice as detailed. And yeah, I've just been taking my time, enjoying myself. And the point was to get this volume out sooner than later. And that meant that other things had to take a backseat, including Love and Chorus 6, which is fine. But yeah, we're going to translate this one. It's going to be available in Dutch and in English. And the hardcover is only available in English.
That hardcover for all the folks here in these states is $71 plus shipping. So there are only 36 of them left, or 38 of them left. I had to move in a little closer. Yeah. So extremely limited.
Yes.
If you want to have a hardcover with that special cover, now is the time. Don't do your typical or my typical Kickstarter thing and wait till that last day.
No, they have been going so fast. You might want to just get on this, and keep in mind, if you just want to claim your own and reserve your funds for later, Kickstarter doesn't take your money immediately. You can back now and just have it done at the end of the campaign.
Yeah. See, now that's the selling point against Kickstarter for me so much of the time, because I agree. on occasion, spent that Kickstarter money because I forgot, and I just like go out and I'm like, I'm going to use PayPal. What have I got in PayPal? Yeah, I've got $110 in PayPal. I can buy this.
Yeah.
Forgetting that Kickstarter didn't.
Yeah.
You went back to market with the plushies too.
That's right.
There was demand.
There's still quite a few left. And this little Etsy plushie is the main character of Life on Korra issue 1. And she is soft, she is cuddly. You can pose her ears. I've seen people.
Folks, if you're used to getting a stuffed animal at the carnival, and you get home and the leg's already falling off in the cut, these things are durable. This is high quality. Squeezing.
This is proper quality. Yeah.
Yeah. This is This is not going to fall apart.
No.
This is very tightly stitched. She's got little toes. Look at the toes stitched into there. That's just.
She's got two beans.
Yeah. So and again, it also doesn't feel like any plushie I've ever held. This is very velvety. I could sit here.
Yeah,
and
it's velvety, but honestly, I like it. The problem with plush, plush, is that it tends to fall apart eventually.
Yeah.
And velvety, like this kind of material, does not. A lot slower, at least, because the hairs are shorter. It's harder to pull out. You can scratch this quite a bit and not show on the whole thing.
And you can bend those ears and give her a little bit of expression. Him a little bit of expression.
Oh, yeah.
It's gorgeous. Get one, guys. You can get those for $44.
Yeah, available as add-ons as well.
Limited.
And they're so much fun. So
yeah, you're getting all 5 of the stories, which we know. This is. Are there any tiers here for getting the individual books as floppies again for the people who say, "Yeah, this is great, but I didn't know there were floppies.
Yes.
Can I get floppies?"
Yes, if you look at the first tier, it is $1 or €1 together with shipping, and then you can put together everything in our library that interests you.
So all add-ons. So this is the bag.
Yeah, so you can put in whatever you want in that one. Keep in mind, though, we have 6 series that we publish. So if there's something that piques your interest, or you're already a fan of one of those series, and you just want to, get the European release, this is the point to get it as well.
I already have them because I recognized the genius in this early on, folks.
And you might want to click that video.
Oh, this video? Oh, well, then I need to unshare it because I didn't share the sound because I already played that video. Let me stop it, present it again. This time with see, this is funny. If I present a Chrome tab, it automatically shares my audio, but it turns it off if I'm going to share a window. So,
right, that was the thing.
Let's play that.
Are you absolutely sure about this, Toyvin?
Absolutely certain, Ogson. If there was any other way, I'd consider it.
Let's do it then.
The stones are stable. Follow my lead.
So, what do you know about the Aquanids?
I'll tell you later.
So that's the first 20 seconds of the pilot done so far.
Okay, so there's gonna be an animated series here.
I'm gonna keep to the pilot because it's enough work as it is. That is that together with the intro that you showed in the video earlier. That has been most of my last year as well.
Wow.
So
because you're doing this traditionally.
Yeah, this is cell animation.
Lost art.
So yeah, this is all animated in Clip Studio Paint. The voices are by Nita Lanning and Daphne Leitch and Nicholas Anthony Tucker. So they've been typecasted. I absolutely love their voices, and they did such a great job. It was hilarious to record this with them. And yeah, the 24-hour challenge, all the links are in the campaign. There's a link to the video, so you can just get a reminder and set it up. I'm starting at 2 a.m. Eastern for a very simple reason that is 8 a.m. in Europe.
Yep. Start the day.
Yeah, because
and then you can be up all night.
Now we're gonna be up all night instead of start at 3 p.m. and having to go through all day, all night, and all day. That is stupid. We don't do that. We're idiots. We're not that big an idiot.
Well, if you started at night, then you could go all night and all day, and then your 24 hours ends when it's dark and you can go to bed.
Yeah, that's fun. But then you got to keep in mind that you're already up for 12 hours.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah. You'd have to sleep in advance then.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, unless you actually want to sleep away the afternoon and screw over your night and day schedule even more.
Yeah, you're going to be up for 36 hours regardless of how you try to pull this one off. It's
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I was young and I could do that.
Me too. Why did I agree to this again? All right, because I thought of it myself.
Yes, it's going to be fun. We got to promote this 24-hour comic. I've got to get this shared out to my network. Everybody else, share the stream out so people can know that Mike Jimmy is going to go nuts online next weekend. There's not much more to really show on the campaign here because we've talked about the book, the plushie.
Well, you can go to stretch goals because we're actually running up to stretch goals. We're funded. We are ready to go. Like, we're just going to add everything. And yes, you can get original pages as well.
Original pages available. That's something to get. I've shipped a lot of original art now, and it's beautiful having my hands on these things, saying, "Wow!" So this is what it looks like to actually own a page of original art. I'm gonna have to do that. Oh, stickers! We're getting stickers.
We're getting a sticker pack as first if we reach 2,000 euros, and that's one of the smaller goals, honestly, because there's way more coming. At 2750, we are getting a coloring set. So
are these PDF or are they printed?
They're going to be printed with physical, and you're going to get PDF with digital. So everyone is getting that.
Gorgeous. 8 more pages. This is the first page extension.
That's right. That should get us to about 180 pages because we're already starting at 170 or so. And we're going to get enamel pins of the core.
That's going to go on my jacket. I'm going to put that on my jacket because you're going to hit that 4250.
I hope so. And at 5,000, we are going to add the 24-hour comic challenge story to the book, adding 24 pages. And at that point, we should already be at around 220 pages.
This is going to be so good, people. I mean, I can gush over it because I've read the Life on Korra books. I've read them. I love them. You have 31 backers. I don't know if that moved.
No, it hasn't, sadly.
Well, in that case, I'm embarrassed. I've done nothing for you.
So maybe on the replay. I mean, here's the thing. I enjoy talking to you. It's always fascinating because you actually go into very deep questions that I don't necessarily think about, and we have very fun discussions.
I try.
But,
you inspire me.
We're awful nerds, the two of us, and it makes for such interesting interviews, and I really like just being here. And yeah, I've had a fun time. So what more can I ask for, right?
And I don't just get a plushie for everybody's book. In fact, I don't have a plushie for anybody's book.
But he got mine, guys. He got mine.
I had to have it. So yeah, folks, here's what happened was, I was shipping the last book out, and that's when the plushies came in, and I had not ordered one. And I was like, "You've got an extra one here." And I was teasing. I said, "Do you want to tip your shipper?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay, but they're kind of expensive." I'm like, I'm kidding. I'm going to, I took them. I paid for this.
You did.
It's like, here's your invoice. Here's how much this thing cost. I'm wiping out the cost of this thing because I'm buying this thing. I had to have it. So,
it's they're so much fun. And yeah, that was just another goal I had. Like, I want plushies. People were asking for plushies. I had 100 of them made. And like same with the animated pilot. Yeah, I'm probably going to have a different plushie at some point, but they are a huge time and money investment.
The design alone is
like
these wings here, they're not just hanging. The work that went into them to keep them in place, and because this area here doesn't exist. This gray doesn't exist. You're supposed to see the wings, but that would have been impossible or at least costly to do double wings and have them serrated.
So like this and these were, if I'm looking at the whole thing, we're looking at double I normally pay for books, at least. These are not cheap. Like, there's a lot of labor in these. There's the prototype. There's the shipping. These have to come from China. There's a lot of logistics going into this. So yeah, even at €40, that's pretty cheap for a plushie this size because they're 12 inches. They're not even small. They're not little tchotchkes.
I've got a crate behind me of 18-inch plushies. For Michael Oden's The Embrace. So that's going to be shipping out soon because I'm getting the books this week. I every time I think I'm like, okay, I'm in a lull period here. I need to find something to ship. I find out that there are people I made deals with in the past that I've forgotten about because they've been in production. And then I get emails saying, okay, the books are coming. What books are coming? Who are you?
What again?
Yeah. Did we talk? But it's like, so I'm getting the Kids and Monsters books are on their way. And the SPQR's Bizarre Adventure is on its way. And I'm sure there's something else coming. I'm like, I'm going to be flooded again. And I love it. It keeps me busy.
This is pretty much going to come to you in April.
Okay, so your May date on here, we're going to beat that, right?
Yeah, because everything is done.
Good.
Like the only thing that I have to do when it comes out is I have to, after the 24-hour comic challenge, I have to make a new proof copy with all the kings from the proof that I have here taken out, together with the new story and all the extras that you will get if we reach all our stretch goals, and have the entire book, and that is going to be about 1.5 inches. Take care of that whole thing, and once that is done, the only thing that I have to do is translate, and I'm doing that as we go as well. So,
so is Dutch wordier than English? I mean, will it fit in the same word balloons?
Yeah, just about. I mean, there's going to be some, that don't fit.
I mean, it's not like it's Welsh where you just hit the W key a bunch of times and.
No, it's not that bad. Dutch is very is just as Germanic as English or German. So yeah, you're going to get about the same word count, but Dutch is very much more contextual.
Okay.
So one word can have like 5 meanings.
That's very economical. Get your money's worth out of the word.
Yeah, that's funny and all until we start, sticking words together like they do in Germany as well.
Yeah. I love that video where they're like going over all the romance languages for different words, and like they're all the same word pronounced. Hospital, hospital, Krankenhausen. and it was like, wait a second, hospital is Krankenhausen and ambulance is Krankenwagen. So I'm like, oh, so Kranken is like health or medical. And,
sick. Yeah.
Okay, the sick.
Krank is to be sick. Krank is sick. So sick wagon. And in Dutch, house? It's ziekenhuis. So sick house. Yeah.
I took 3 years of Latin and loved it because I'm like, I can figure out how a language works. But
yeah, no,
I was
it's
basically figuring
fun.
out how my language worked.
You know, that's the thing too. Like with the alphabets for Lavangora, like we went through Old Germanic, and then we went through Old Mesopotamian, and we went to Old Aztec as basics to work from. So those were the inspirations. But yeah, you can one-on-one translate all of these.
That's gonna be the new goal. Is so we'll find out some secrets from the ancients that the Korans, are they Korans?
No, they're all kinds of creatures. Like the ancients are just the ancients trademark.
Yeah, but I mean people who live on Korra. Do you?
Oh no, they're
Korans or Koreans or
no, they're just the creatures that they are. So you got the Noddle, you got the Tusker, you got the Rockhola, Nicias, the Eleni, and upcoming are the Celestrine, and a whole bunch more.
I need to see somebody go to the edge of this continent and go over the side, because gravity will still pull them in, so they could walk.
Yeah,
it's that
essentially. How about? See, we got a bit more time, right?
Yeah, I've got nothing but time.
There we go. How about we go over some Lavangora 6 pages?
Oh, let's.
So these are the first couple of pages for Lavangora 6. And that is a lettering error that I gotta take out. You saw nothing. It will not be in the final book.
Okay.
Now, what happened? Okay, so what happened here is that I started these pages on a different computer, and the font that I used for it had different settings.
Oh.
So when it translated and it got back to me, it had this error.
That does that to me in PowerPoint. I'll like have everything set up in PowerPoint, and then I say save as a PNG, and suddenly the words are going off the side. I'm like, why did you do that? I'll have to like just screen grab it.
Oh, that is not. There we go. So yeah, that's essentially what happened here as well.
Oh, so everybody doesn't live quite in peace on Korra.
No. It's
you have predators.
It's like there's predators. There's it's life being life. You're gonna see at most like the same kind of violence as you would in a National Geographic documentary. Actually, no, it's gonna be less that, but that's the most you can expect. You can still make your children watch it. And violence is part of life, but that doesn't mean that it's part of every story. Hey, what up, Mike?
Hi, Mike.
And so, yeah, this is coming up in June. And
right on the heels of fulfilling this one, you'll be launching another one.
And when we started this interview, you were asking if there were Easter eggs. Yes. Here's Oxton and Toyfon.
Oh, look at them. There they are.
Yeah. Getting attacked by baby birds, but life happens. And they're getting flying lessons. Yeah, I made most of these at the start of the year, last year. Well, halfway through the year, honestly. We're just moving along.
And then here's the edge of the world.
These are cliffs, actually. So these are the cliffs that you saw at the start of the comic.
And of course, I meant the edge of the continent anyway. But
yeah. Yeah, so this is all hand-inked. We can zoom into forever. These pages are absolutely gigantic.
Now, wait a second. I'm seeing what I didn't think I would ever see in the sky here, because I'm looking at the light source, but then off to the far right, I'm looking at the other core. I did not know that was actually visible from the continents.
I mean, they're very far away, but like there's nothing in between. There's just space.
Yeah.
But
but so that's like that would be their mental equivalent of the moon.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's always there because it's in the middle of everything. So the moon is always out. The sun is always out.
The sun is always out. It only pulses from light blue to dark blue. It's going to be a little lighter, like the same way as a dim light, essentially. It's going to be very low light, and then it grows to hard light and back to low light in intervals of about 18 hours, actually. How about we just go into world workings and everything?
So the residents of Korra have no concept of stars because they've never seen them.
Well, they kind of have, but like they're just dots in the sky.
Yeah, but but the light would wash them out.
Yeah, for a big part.
That would.
So yeah. Here's some of the world workings for people who want to get inspired by world building things. It is a full science fiction world, no magic. Martin, yes, this is a very good reason. The guy who did Love and Korra 3 and 5 loves to put in magic. It is a sci-fi megastructure. There is no magic, Martin.
There's only the Arthur C. Clarke magic.
It's technology too advanced, but that's not magic.
Yeah.
The full universe is made out of millions of planet-like cores. That's actually been scrapped. That is no longer the case. This is actually a sci-fi megastructure. There, it's been made.
We just watched the world get reshaped, folks.
Yeah, no, that's something that I just forgot to take out. 4 or 5 major continents around the core. Might be more, might be less. Depends on what my writers come up with. The core works through gravity, with smaller cores inside the continents and small cores inside the continents and small islands, floating in between. Reverted gravity. Core is
because it's not pulling you towards the core; it's pulling you away from it.
Yeah, it's keeping it at it's magnetic pressure versus gravity. So it's the relativity theory versus magnets working against one another. And that, at some point gets to a stasis point where you just have no orbit. They can't get closer to one another because they're equal forces.
They're repelled. They're centripetal and centrifugal force happening at the same time.
Exactly. The core is the main light source, pulsating from bright blue to dark blue.
I just read that there are cores in each of the continents.
That's right.
That is something that I don't think I've seen in the books yet.
No, because it doesn't matter to the story. The answer is no.
Right.
There's the single huge cloud orbiting around the core. That was something. And yeah,
it doesn't break up.
No. It's something that I just haven't figured out yet on how it exactly works. But honestly, sometimes you just gotta let it go. Sometimes you just gotta take the suspension of belief and just keep to it. So we have the forest continent, Drus. That's where every story took place so far. There's more coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how variant will the other continents be from Drus?
Well, the one that has been scripted for so far is already is a snowy world, so it's way further out from the core, so it receives less light, and it's a snow biome.
Because I'm thinking, at one point, these continents would have been seeded, for lack of a better term, with all the same life forms.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to see them evolve differently because they're apart from each other.
You're going to see
like Darwin's Galapagos Island.
Yeah, in a way, but there's also just different creatures having had different purposes in the world. They weren't just planted there by the ancients. Like, they had a purpose. Whether it's providing meat, or being a good meal, or being a cleanup crew, like flies or fungi are, and all kind, like you wouldn't be there without purpose.
Yeah. They terraformed something, and at some point it went wrong, or
something happened long time ago.
It'd be interesting if you never tell that story, and yet you've been telling it from issue 1 with all the ancient hieroglyphs. That if anybody wanted to translate, like, oh yeah, well, here's the actual story. Look, you follow it through, and it tells you exactly where they went.
There are a couple of Easter eggs like that, but as I said, next week you're going to be very interested in that story then, because we are going to look at one of the ancients and their knowledge of the world. So that's all I'm going to say, because that is literally the concept that we have written down. And there's nothing else yet. We just figured out how we're going to depict the ancient, and what kind of visuals you're going to be getting. When it comes to story, it's going to be one big guess, and we'll have to see next week.
I'm in. I will be here for this.
It's going to be so much fun.
All right. Mike, thank you so much. I want to see that number bounce, and the only way I can make it bounce is if I put my own money at it, I guess. Okay. We'll take care of that. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us about this.
Always a pleasure, man.
It is for me as well. It's, I love talking about Korra, and I get to talk with the actual creators of the comics now. So
it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no speculating. It's like you're with the creator. You're like, I think this thing is this, and the guy says, no, it's this. Well, how do you know? Because it's my character.
Because I made it.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here this afternoon. Please do check out Life on Korra. The link has always been right below the video. You could click on it at any time. Go out here and pick the tier you want. You are not going to regret adding this one to your collection.
Oh, no.
I am not going to regret adding it to my collection. And, I have limited space for books. So when I pick up, comics or hardcovers especially, it's because I really need to have them.
Yeah, you're going to have to make space for this one, because there's only 50 to be made. We got 38 left. I think it's going to be 37 after the stream.
Yeah, it's going to go down quickly here. And they're going to be signed, right?
They're going to be signed. They are numbered. So the point where you get your hardback is your number. And they will have a complete original sketch by myself. So, yeah, and you're not going to get, your quick 10-second signature doodle that people are used to from me. No, you're going to get a proper sketch.
Oh my!
I'm going to take about an hour per book on this one, at least. I'm going to have fun.
I've been watching a guy do exactly just that, and his regret was that he didn't draw the sketches up in advance and have them bound into the books, because it's hard to sketch on it and hold the cover open and everything and all that. But he draws with I don't have any of those pens here, but he draws with a blue pen.
Yeah.
The kind you would get at the grocery store. And he just goes like, really?
Yeah, no.
No pencils, no nothing. You just get in and go.
Hold on. I have one of my favorite. There it is. So this is by a fellow Dutch creator, The Last Man by Merel Monen. And she has translated, it's in English as well, but as we did a little art trade, and she was instantly in love with Cora. She made Octa's. So this took her all day because the convention we were at was absolutely quiet. But you're essentially going to get this in your book. Like you're going to get about this in every hardback, and you're going to be like I'm probably going to spend a couple of sketchy Saturdays working on these.
That is fantastic, guys. Get the book. Get the book now. Don't wait. And then after you get your book, don't do it before you get your book. Do this. Get your book first. Then share this stream out to your friends so that you can say, hey, get this book. If you share it first, you might not get the hardcover. They might run out. You might cause a run.
They're going to be fast.
Yeah,
they've gone so fast.
All right. Everybody watching, while you were here, as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good afternoon.
Stay awesome, lovely.